Hey guys, early chapter this week. You know what that calls for? Teching Spin Dance. Whee! Hey everybody, Teching 101 here, and welcome back to Wano! Ugh, I get a little bit of goosebumps every time I say that. I'm just so giddy. Okay, so, and I was right. I was correct in assuming last chapter that this chapter was going to be named Adventure in the Land of the Samurai, or something to that effect. Not really much of a great theory, because Oda has done this before, like, a lot, but I got it right, and I'm happy about that. Okay, so no cover page this week, or rather no cover serial. We don't continue the illustrious adventures of Orlumbus, although my theory that he's going to discover something big at the end of his serial, it's kind of garnered a lot of traction. I've seen people in the comments last week that are like, oh man, Orlumbus is going to stumble upon Raftel, or Eneru, or an ancient weapon. He's going to run into freaking, Reverie at some point. Now, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it, Oda. But we might have to wait for a little while, because in celebration of Shonen Jump's 50th anniversary and One Piece's 21st, we're gonna have 2 consecutive color pages back to friggin' back. So this week we have the Straw Hats going out for a looks like a little shopping trip, and Luffy rushes by all of them to get his food back from a cat and all of their actually, okay, Luffy is kind of a dick in this picture. I mean, look at that. Look at poor Brook back there. Brook is carrying popcorn and all the sodas for his buddies, and he's like, oh, we're gonna have a great time at the movies tonight, except I can't see because I don't have eyes. And then Luffy just runs by and knocks off his freaking head, popcorn's flying everywhere, he gets soda. Did you ever get drenched in soda? Okay, I'm working at Dollar Tree one time, right? And I, there's like giant 3-liter bottles of soda that we used to sell. They're only 2 liters now, but they used to be these giant 3-liter bottles of soda, like off-brand. And I took my box cutter one day, and you're not supposed just to cut open the cellophane, you're supposed to like rip it off, because if you accidentally nick one of the bottles, you know, it's gonna spray you with soda. Well, me being me, I do that, and I nick a bottle of like off-brand Mountain Dew or something, and I just get doused in soda, and my hair and my shirt, everything's sticky for the rest of the freaking day. And then now Brook has to live with that. He's got soda all over his threads and on his bones. You know, Luffy, come on. Now, sometimes you're just going too far. Although I do like Robin in the background, who's just, you know, she's out of all of this nonsense, and she's just going shopping and having a lovely day. She knows that, okay, Luffy's coming. I'm gonna step over here. You guys have fun with that. Right, so cutting back to where we were on the beach somewhere in Wano. We don't know exactly where at, because Wano is a pretty large nation. Luffy doesn't even know we were there. After the whole incident with the carp and everything, and going up the waterfall, Luffy kind of lost consciousness, and he's just kind of waking up like, oh man, where am I? And then all of a sudden, that monkey, a baboon from the forest, walks out with a katana, and then there's that Koma Inu, that lion dog from Japanese mythology. It's sniffing around the Thousand Sunny, and they just start getting into a fight. And that's where we pick up now. And it's funny, because Luffy doesn't even really seem to care. He's noticing these 2 giant animals from Japanese lore, and Luffy is just like, okay guys, just, I don't care if you fight, just can you make sure not to wreck up our ship? And so they just start having this like Tom and Jerry routine in the background. Meanwhile, Luffy's just trying to figure out where he is, like, oh man, what happened? I freaking capsized on the side of the ship. I lost consciousness. Are we in Wano? Meanwhile, it's just, so that's pretty funny there. And we have a little bit of a flashback to what exactly happened. You know, Luffy it's coming back to him exactly what occurred. So from Luffy's memory, the group did make it to the top of the waterfall. As soon as they shot over the edge of the waterfall, they looked out, and as the Thousand Sunny was flying in the air, because remember they were being propelled by those koi, those carp, they noticed that there's a lot of land around them. So there's the shore, there's the beach, and then there's like those higher mountains or like plateaus. And so Sanji grabs up Nami and Carrot and Chopper, and they're like, all right, well, we can jump to land. We can jump to those higher pillars, but they can't reach it. So what Luffy decides to do is like he uses his Gumu Gumu no balloon, you know, poofs out his body. He's like, you know, Sanji, use me as like a trampoline to gain some air time, and then you could just skywalk to the higher plateau. And Sanji's like, cool, we'll do that. And Luffy's like, I'll be right behind you. So Sanji jumps on top of Luffy, boings into the air, and he shoots off toward land. So that explains what happened to the rest of the crew. That explains why why Luffy was alone on the beach. The other Straw Hats are probably around in the same general area, it's just they're on higher ground. Okay, and they might have had a rough landing too, and we don't know what happened. They could have run into another crazy giant animal from Japanese lore in the forest when they landed. We don't know what's going on with them, but they did make it to safety, okay? They're certainly not on the Thousand Sunny. So, after that happened, Luffy was like, okay, he poofs back his body to normal, and he was just gonna, you know, he was gonna grab the mast and like Gomu Gomu no Rocket to follow them. And we had a funny scene there where Luffy's grabbing the mast and he's like, because they're still in the middle of the air, they're still like shot into the air, and then they're descending when all this stuff's happening, and Luffy is saying to the Thousand Sunny, he's like, Sunny, we'll be back for you, I promise, I gotta go. And you see a facial expression on the Sunny, and that happened with the Mary a lot. It's happened a few times with the Sunny, but I just find it funny, because he's like, yeah, Sunny, I'm sorry, I gotta go, don't worry, we'll be right back to you. It's funny because, you know, they treat the Thousand Sunny just like a normal member of the crew. So Luffy has to actually say to the ship, he's like, don't worry, I know we're gonna be leaving you alone for a little bit, we'll be right back, trust us. And the Sunny just kind of like, okay. Good luck. But right before Luffy's about to rocket to safety, the octopus, Admiral Taco, I guess I'll call him, or Admiral Taco-chan, he grabs Luffy from behind. Oh, okay, I know I said that last chapter. I know I said I'd be okay with the Taco grabbing Luffy, as long as it wasn't Nami or Carrot, but still, I'm not entirely excited of where this is going. Do I need to add like an age filter on this video or something? No, it seems from the facial expression, it seems that the octopus is just as scared as like Chopper was, or like Nami was when they were like, you know, shooting into the air. The Taco doesn't seem to have malicious intent, although Luffy is just like, oh, why are you doing this now? So Luffy was restrained and he couldn't escape, and that's what happened. He crashed on the beach, the Thousand Sunny skidded on the sand, and then Luffy got propelled from the ship. What happened to Taco-chan? I have no idea. He might still be on the ship, he might be in the water, he might have gotten flung to another section of the beach, I don't know, but the Taco will return in Taco 2. Taco Tuesday. I should have a Taco Tuesday. It's been a while since I've had a Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday next week, alright. So that pretty much brings us up to speed. After Luffy got captured by the Taco, the Sunny actually got sucked into a whirlpool that was around the beach. So Luffy is still kind of confused of where exactly he is, even though he remembered what happened. Because he still doesn't know. He's just like, all right, we got sucked down into a whirlpool. Luffy has bad luck with that. Did we get sucked to the bottom of the waterfall? Are we back down in that area with the koi, or are we higher up? Or are we in the general area? Because he's still a little confused here. Meanwhile, he notices that the Vivara card inside of his hat went missing, and for a minute he starts freaking out, like, I lost my Vivara card in the sea! Ah, it's no big deal, you know, what can you do, you know, Shogun Ai, it can't be helped. And then I start thinking, like, whose Vivara card was it? No, that's a serious question. If anybody can answer that, that'd be great, because I started to think, like, okay, well, the Vivara card. Okay, the Vivara cards that Luffy would be holding, well, he had aces, but that got burned away after, you know, ace in the hole, or hole in the ace, I guess. Rayleigh gave him the Vivara card, but they don't need Rayleigh's anymore. I think Law gave him one to you know, find him or find Beppo or somebody. Maybe it might have been Beppo's card, I don't know. But there was some Vivara card involving Law, but that was back in, like, Dressrosa. Obviously, it wouldn't have been Big Mom's, you know, from, you know, Totland. Nami has that one. So I actually am kind of curious, like, which Vivara card is this? There was also one that was a Vivara card of Luffy's that was made that he gave out to the Grand Fleet, and Sabo took a piece of that as well. So maybe that's the one he's referring to, the rest of his own personal Vivara card, and maybe that's why he's not freaking out too much, because he's just like, oh man, I lost my Vivara card! Ah, well, what can you do? It's not that big of a deal. Because if it was anything important, if it was a Vivara card leading to somebody important to him, he would be freaking out a lot more, I think. So it might have just been his own personal one, but why would he be looking for it? I don't know. Someone answer that. That's a legitimate question. I'm confused by that. Also, by the way, from what we know about Vivara cards, it actually doesn't matter if they are even lost in the water, because Vivara cards are not affected by elements like fire or water, so they won't get destroyed in that sense. So it's very possible that Luffy's Vivara card, whoever it's connected to, it could still be floating in the ocean. Maybe Taco-chan will find it and he'll pop out and it'll be stuck to him. Luffy could just pick it up. It'll still be a perfectly good, you know, dry piece of paper that he can, you know, use. So it's not that big of a concern. It was just a little bit of a confusing moment for me. Alright, so now we cut into the forest a little bit. Remember, further inland to the island, on the outskirts, you know, the border of the beach, there was this really dense forest forest that we saw, and we see a chase scene going on. Apparently, a little girl is being chased by a bunch of these thugs that look a lot like Kaido's minions. They're wearing outfits that kind of are reminiscent of that, and they're riding on a giant snake. Remember, the shogun of Wano is Kurozumi Orochi, and Orochi is referencing the Yamato no Orochi, the eight-headed serpent thing of Japanese lore, so this makes sense. If Kaido is in, you know, collaboration with the shogun, maybe they have giant snakes, that's their, like, symbol of the house of the shogun or whatever, and then they're riding on that, so that makes sense there. They're also talking about a person called the Headliner. They're, I guess, talking over a Den Mushi or something, like, you know, Headliner, sir, there's an illegal entry, there's a ship at the beach, what's going on? And it's like, oh, our baboon is attacking. Okay, so basically here's what's going on. There's some chasing going on. These guys are chasing this little girl. The baboon that we saw last chapter with the katana, that's there. So the baboon's a bad, well, not maybe as an animal, probably just, you know, in legion with Kaido, but an enemy at the moment, okay? And so the Koma Inu is in legion with the little girl that's kind of like her protector. Okay, so that brings us up to speed here, okay? So these two animals got ahead of the chase, and they started brawling it out, like, baboon, go chase after the Koma Inu, finish it off, and then come back to us and help us capture this girl. Okay, so the girl manages to make it to shore, and we find out the reason why they're chasing after her is because of something that she said in town. We don't exactly know what it is, but it says that it's unforgivable. We found out who you are, girl. You know, we're gonna take you in. All right, so here's the time that Luffy has to shine, alright? An innocent young civilian of Wano being chased after a bunch of brutes. I think we all know how this is going to go. So they spot Luffy in the scope of their gun. They notice, they mention it's like a tranquilizer gun, but it's really funny because, like, the second they raise up the gun and they see Luffy in the crosshairs, Luffy's not even looking at them, but his observation is tuned to such a high degree, especially after the fight with Katakuri. And so they raise up the gun, and as soon as they see Luffy in the crosshairs, before they even get a chance to, like, cock their gun, it's just like, I see him in my claw, and Luffy just swings around without even looking and just right in the side of the face, and he goes down. And then the other dude, because apparently I guess he didn't see what happened, or he didn't realize who he's screwing with here, he does the exact same thing. He's like, hey Jeff, what happened? It's okay, I got him in my sight. Oh god, I'm on fire! So, Luffy just red hawks this freaking snake, and he doesn't even say the name of the attack. That just shows that Luffy really cares not for these fodder soldiers, whoever they are. Luffy he can tell just by, oh, I'm in someone's line of fire right now. Okay, I probably should deal with that. Bam! Oh, someone else is doing it? Alright, can I light people on fire? Yes, I can. You know why? Because I'm Monkey D. Luffy, bitch! And, bam, just lights this freaking snake on fire, and those guys as well, and they go down. So, yeah, Luffy takes care of them, not much of an issue there. They're down, possibly dead. You know, whenever you light somebody on fire with a highly combustible punch, you might not be able to come back from that. Okay, well, anyway, they're either dead or severely mutilated on the side of a beach, you know, screaming bloody murder. Okay, fine. But now we still have an issue going on with the baboon. Oh no, I guess they are still alive. He gets back up afterwards and he's like, oh, the freaking baboon, I don't care about that freaking dog lion. Take care of that thing, capture him, or just kill him, screw it, kill the other monkey. So the baboon is now setting its sights on Luffy. However, Luffy just has to do a little bit of a touch of Conqueror's hockey there and just give the baboon the death stare, and the baboon instantly becomes subservient to Luffy. So anytime we're dealing with an animal at this point, I would say the only exception would be maybe an animal that's under direct control of an emperor, somebody that might have higher or stronger Conqueror's hockey than Luffy. Like if Kaido has a personal pet, then maybe Luffy might not be able to, like, you know, sway the animal away just by using Conquerors. But as long as it's like a wild animal, or even an animal like this baboon that's obviously been trained and is in legion with Kaido's soldiers and is trained to listen to them, in situations like that, Luffy has complete dominance. It happened with the Kraken, Tsurume, and now it's happening here with this baboon, so not much of a concern there. So yeah, the guys really have no firepower left, which just leads them to get conked in the side of the head with a giant stick by the little girl. So, little girl for the win! I think Luffy might have, you know, maybe pulled most of the work here. Maybe like a good 95% of the work was on Luffy's end, but, you know, little girl with the finishing move, just picking up the giant club like, ah! So, okay. Well, who are you, little girl? what are you going to be doing this arc? Because I have a feeling you're going to be kind of a main character in Wano. Okay, well, her name is Otama, and her cuteness level is at about, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd rate her a, chibi panda. Is that an appropriate scale for her, you know, cuteness level, chibi panda? Yeah, okay, she's got the pink little cheeks and everything like that, so alright, we're just gonna go with that. Remember that woman's names in, you know, old school Japanese, like with Robins, it says like Robbie or Otama in this sense there. She raises up her hands because she's surrendering to Luffy, because she still doesn't know exactly whose side Luffy's on. I mean, once again, she's just running onto the beach, and the next thing she knows, Luffy is just BAM! And then she, like you know, watching him light a guy on fire, and then just stare down a huge baboon with a katana, and it just starts becoming his loyal servant. So, you know, if I saw that going on, I'd be like, okay, whoa, 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 okay, I don't know what's going on here. I just saw you literally punch a guy on fire, so, I surrender. And of course, Luffy being Luffy is pretty straightforward. He's just kind of looking at the girl and just like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm surrendering to you! And Luffy's just like, knock it off, you know, I'm not gonna hurt you, I'm not one of them, don't worry. And the girl is just like, oh, okay, well that's good. So she starts to calm down, but then she gets an idea. She's like, oh, this is my chance! I know what I must do! Grab a piece of my cheek and then pop off a piece of dango. And then hand it to the baboon. To which it then eats it and then becomes her servant. Okay. Sure, why not? Okay, so it's a devil fruit power, obviously. See, here's the thing. I originally thought it was just like a food fruit, like Stroizen, you know? He has the ability of the Kiku no Mi, the ingredient fruit, or the food fruit, I think was a better translation of that, where he could, you know, just make food out of anything. So maybe this is like a similar fruit, but it affects the person's body instead of just other things. But then you start to think like, no, this isn't normal food. This is not normal dango. This is like food that made this baboon, who was already kind of under the subservience of Luffy with his Conqueror's Haki. One bite from this stuff made this baboon fall in love with this girl very affectionately. Like, I will like loyally follow you from here on out. Now, maybe the dango was just that delicious, who knows, or it might have some kind of other special property, like any animal that eats the food obeys the master. Kind of similar to Breed's Peto no Mi, because Breed could put like a control collar on animals and humans and be like, sit! And then, So maybe Oda modified it to make it a little bit less cruel and just have it be food. And so anything that she feeds this dango to, and maybe it necessarily doesn't have to be dango, but anything she feeds this to will become, like, fall in love with her or, you know, be subservient to her at the very least, okay? Something like that. So yeah, and we also find out she did this with the Koma Inu, and so now she has a dog and a monkey under her Wait, dog and a monkey under... Oh, it's fucking Momotaro. That's what we're doing. Okay, fine. We can go with that. All right. So I love my job. All right. Let's see what we got here. That's Norse. That's freaking Australian. Okay, here we go. The Legend of Momotaro. Okay, so just really quick, an abridged reference here. He's a boy that was born from a peach. Okay, just, you know, roll with it. And went to go fight some demons, and along the way, he enlisted the help of a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant to help him in his noble quest. Okay, dog, monkey, pheasant. Dog, monkey, pheasant. I need to get a... Oh, okay, well, Umbreon, you're sort of like a dog. Okay, Rowlett, you're going to be playing the role of a pheasant today. And now we just need a monkey. We need a monkey. Monkey. Do I not have a monkey plushie? I have a fez, I have a freaking skull, robot, monkey, this is useless. Okay, no, nah, sorry guys, looks like we don't have a monkey plushie, so, get out of the way, Luffy. Looks like we're gonna have to be doing, Pikmin. So, Pikmin, you're playing the role of monkey today on our little casting thing. Okay, there we go. That's, yeah, Legend of Momotaro right there. That's all you need to know. Now, of course, we only have 2 out of the 3 animals that we've been introduced to so far. A monkey and a dog, or a Koma Inu in this case. So keep your eye out for a pheasant or some kind of flying bird creature later on. Might be Marco. Probably not, but might be Marco. Okay, I don't think it's going to be, because if that was the case, they would have just made Luffy the monkey, because his name is Monkey, so they're obviously going out of, Oda's going out of his way to make other animals the the creatures from Momotaro. So, yeah, there's probably just going to be a normal pheasant flying around Wano that they're going to enlist in their aid. And these animals are probably going to get to know these animals quite well throughout the course of the series, and they actually get names later on in the chapter. Baboon Maru and Komachio. And by the way, I have to make the reference to, okay, we have a large baboon wielding a katana as his main weapon. Last name's Maru, okay, Baboon Maru, or Hihio Maru. In case you don't know what these, are back here, it's Renji Abarai from Bleach reference with his Zanpakuto Zabimaru and his Bankai So Zabimaru. So, yeah, there you go. That's the Bleach reference for today. Okay, but anyway, we got a little bit of exposition going on here. So Luffy just asks the girl straight up after Luffy witnesses what happened with the Dango and just popping it into the baboon's mouth. He's like, oh, wow, that's a pretty interesting ability. Oh, and side note on the Dango, just really quick, I did quick, look into the Japanese, sweets, everything like that to try to figure out what the Dango really were. I had a basic idea what they are because they appear all the time in anime, but I just wanted to be really sure. So yeah, here are Dango. And they can be prepared in a variety of different ways. Like, from what I understand, there are dozens, maybe even hundreds of ways to prepare Dango. There's Hanami Dango, there's Kusa Dango, there's Goma Dango, which is my favorite because it's sweet and salty, and I love everything sweet and salty. There's Chi-Chi Dango, which is like a dessert. There's Anko Dango, and there's Mitarashi Dango, so there's the Naruto reference in the video. Wow, I've completed the trinity of big three references. I had a One Piece reference, I had a Bleach reference, and a Naruto reference all in the same video. I have now achieved enlightenment. Woo! But, yeah, anyway, the kind of Dango that she looks like to be producing is Kibi Dango, which is the kind of Dango that appears in the Legend of Momotaro. So there's another reference. Okay. Cool. But anyway, Luffy asks her straight up, are we in Wano right now? And the girl just kind of like, oh yeah, we're in Wano. We're in a region called the Kuri region. Now keep in mind, Kuri is the place that Kinemon is from, and this was the area that was ruled over by the daimyo Odin, who was Momonosuke's father, which, by the way, Momotaro, Momonosuke, maybe later on. Although Momonosuke is not on Wano right now, he's back at Zou, although he might be arriving later. Who knows what's going to happen with that? But yeah, Luffy is in Wano right now, and he's in the Kuri region, and we find out what happened with the girl is that earlier in town, something happened, and she got a bunch of her stuff stolen from her, and she got really angry, and she said to Kaido's men, when the Kozuki clan gets back in power, you're going to be sorry, because this was the land that the Kozuki clans, ruled over, the, Kozuki Odin was the daimyo. And so this is apparently a big taboo. You cannot even mention the former lords of this place, because the Kozuki clan, as far as like Kaido's men and probably the rest of Wano is concerned, they're like traitors, okay, to the rule of Orochi. So, she had a big, taboo saying, even just mentioning the word Kozuki gives her off as a retainer of the Kozuki, and that's a big no-no. So that's what they were chasing her all through the forest for. They talked about, this is some really dark stuff, they talked about kidnapping her and selling her off to the red light district, or just like forcing her to work as a slave. So yeah, it's some really messed up stuff. But hey, yeah, I mean, in this region, you got to be really careful of who you swear alliances toward, because if you say to the wrong person that you support the wrong king or the wrong daimyo or whatever in this situation, that shit can get your head lopped off pretty quickly. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind for later on. So yeah, Otamo starts to take to calling Luffy Big Brother or Aniki. Okay, that's fine. And then, she's like, the typical stuff. She's like, you saved me. Is there anything I can do to repay you? And of course, the one thing on Luffy's mind is food. Also, I guess we could find my friends and everything later, but first, food! Luffy is such a carefree kind of guy in these kind of situations. He's like, any normal person would be like, okay, I gotta find my friends and figure out what's going on with them, but Luffy's just like, they'll be fine. These things this has happened a lot. You'd be amazed at how many times in my life I've gotten separated from the rest of my crew. They're strong. Sanji's with them. We'll meet back up at some point. I just want to get my food in my tummy right now. Now, as for the Thousand Sunny, what's going to happen with that? Well, there's actually like a tiny little cave, I guess, on the side of the mountains or next to the beach, and so that's where they stash the Sunny for now. And the girl says the ship will be safe here. No enemies will be able to find it, and it seems to be like a good, secure place for the Sunny at the moment. Although, I am kind of curious. I guess this means that Luffy got onto the Sunny, pushed it back into the water, got on, and correctly, sailed it into this tiny little cove which doesn't seem to be an easy thing. And I don't think we've ever seen Luffy straight up be the helmsman of the Thousand Sunny. Then again, Luffy's pretty strong. He could have just grabbed the thing and just shoved it into the cave as well. But that's something I'm always kind of curious about, what they do with the Sunny, because I'm always really worried about that ship, because they dock it in places and just leave it alone. Like back at Totland, they docked the Thousand Sunny right at the territory of Big Mom. Like, they docked it on Whole Cake Island, and they just left it alone for like over a day. Someone could have, if any of the freaking Big Mom pirates, even if the chest soldiers ran across that thing, they would just light the damn thing on fire and destroy it. I'm very worried about that ship, but this time it seems to be like, okay, it's in an area where not a lot of people can notice it at the ready. Okay, fine. And I know the Thousand Sunny is made out of atom wood. I know it's not, you know, it's not indestructible, though. It's pretty durable, but it's not indestructible. If any of Big Mom's pirates, like 2 hours after Luffy ran away and they're screwing off in the seducing woods, they could have found that thing and just been like, oh, Straw Hat ship. All right, well, let's either move it or destroy it, one of the two. But no, it was perfectly fine the entire time, so okay, whatever. Anyway, we now move further into the forest, where Otama is riding on top of the Koma Inu, now Koma Chio, and Luffy is riding on top of the Baboon Maru, the new member. Okay, so we have a monkey riding on top of a monkey. Okay. So anyway, yeah, they continue onward to her house, and it seems like the Baboon and the Koma Inu are getting along. They're hanging out in the front. They're just like, oh, sorry about trying to cut you in half back there, buddy. Oh, no, it's cool. Those Dongo are delicious. Oh, my God, they are freaking amazing. I know. So, yeah. Now, I question why the girl doesn't just make a bunch of Dongo using her Devil Fruit ability and just feed that to Luffy, because she makes him rice and just like a little side of pickles, not very much food. Luffy eats it regardless, but maybe there's a limit to how much Dongo she can make, or maybe the Dongo really is only for the purpose of making animals, like, obey her, rather than actually trying to, you know, sustain other people. Because we find out that this, well, I'll just get to that as we get to that. But anyway, yeah, Luffy eats all the food, and then he's just like, oh, that was delicious. Thanks for making me all this homemade rice. So can I have seconds or whatever way? Actually, Luffy is not that polite. Luffy's just like, nom nom, more! So the girl is just like, oh, you ate it that fast. Oh, okay, I thought that was a lot, because there's actually not any more. I'm sorry. And Luffy, in this situation, you know, he's like, oh, okay. And so he doesn't just straight up say, you know, like, damn it, I really want more food, but he does it like the reverse psychology way that you did when you were like 5, you know, like when you went to the store and you wanted a toy and your parents told you, no, you're not getting that toy, and in order to kind of save face, you had to be like, yeah, it's okay, I didn't want that toy anyway. And so that's what Luffy does. He's like, oh yeah, no, I'm not hungry. I was full, actually. I didn't want any more anyway. I'm good. So, yeah, Luffy obviously wants more food. And keep in mind, this is like traditional, like Japanese, like culture we're going with Wano. So I'm sure Luffy is probably breaking a few dinner manners while behaving the way he is. I had a teacher when I was in college. She was actually the advisor to the anime club there that I was president of. And she had traveled to Japan before, you know, in her past, and she had spent a few years there, and she learned how to do a traditional tea ceremony setup thing. And she showed us this at like a cultural festival, and I actually had to participate in this. And I actually wore this kimono, actually. And so sitting there and going through every single tedious motion just to prepare tea the correct way. And she told this story where, yeah, I was, you know, on my knees, you know, doing the whole tea ceremony while there were these 2 old Japanese women behind me, and anytime I did a wrong move, they would, like, slap my fingers, you know, and just like, no, again, and no, again. So I'm thinking of all the different particulars of, like, Japanese, like, I'm sure it's not all like that with the tea ceremony, but just to sit down and eat, I'm sure Luffy's whole attitude of just, oh, nom nom, more please! Oh, I can't have more, but I'm not, okay, fine, I wasn't full or anything. Maybe that might not sync up too well. But right, anyway, the girl says she's going to leave because she has to go wash her hands, and Luffy just kind of lays down on the floor and is like, well, you know, it wasn't that much food, but it was pretty tasty. It was good food. It just wasn't very much of it. And that Otama, she's a good girl, so maybe, you know, when she comes back, I'll apologize or whatever. And Luffy is then greeted by a very large Tengu. If you don't know what a Tengu is, this is what a Tengu is. Hi, Brunch. How you doing? It's been a while. Actually, it looks like this guy's just wearing a mask of a Tengu, so it's probably somebody that doesn't actually look like this. It's just the idea of, you know, it's a Tengu, so you have to have the mask of a Tengu, right? Also, the obvious connection to Usopp is rather obvious. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised at some point in this arc if Usopp has to pretend to be a Tengu to, like, trick the shogun or the samurai or some shit. Probably gonna happen at some point. But anyway, now we just pull gears back into a really sad explanation. So I'm just gonna put that down and... Okay, you ready for this? Alright, cue up sad music. Okay, we could get sadder. Okay. So, I guess the Tengu is the guardian or the father of Otama, and he states that that girl, she has to eat millet most of the time, but twice a year she is allowed to eat rice. You understand that that girl, she has to weave straw hats every day, and even if she sells them all, she might not even have enough money to last her a day's worth of food, but twice a year she is allowed to eat rice on her birthday and on New Year's. And her 8th birthday is coming up, and I sent her into town to buy that rice for her 8th birthday, and you ate it! My God, that is unnecessarily sad. The girl gave her last piece of her only rice for her birthday. She gets to eat twice a year. She gave it to Luffy. Man, she is a nice girl. Damn it. Anyway, the Tengu is pretty pissed at Luffy and starts attacking him, knocks him out of the house. And so Luffy, of course, didn't actually know the whole situation going on with the rice, so he's none the wiser. Meanwhile, we cut to the girl, Otama, who's at the river and just kind of shoving water into her mouth to kind of stave off the hunger as much as possible. She's just like, you know, stop growling, stomach. It's not befitting of a warrior. And also, by the way, earlier she said to Luffy the reason she wasn't eating is because she had to keep her figure because she wanted to be a kunoichi one day, or a female ninja. So that's also referencing that, yeah, there's going to be a lot more ninjas in Wano than just Raizo. But, yeah, that's really sad. She's drinking all the water from the stream just to try to quell her stomach, just to fill her up with something. Because she only usually eats millet. And I don't even know what millet is, but it doesn't sound good. Can we just throw up a picture of millet? Yeah, no, that doesn't look good. Anyway, she runs back and she sees the Tengu fighting against Luffy, and she mentions, "Oh no, don't fight him. It's okay. I cooked the rice for him because he saved my life. I know you didn't give me permission to, but it's okay. I'm okay with it." So, yeah, heart of gold, Otama, heart of gold. She states that she'll just make more bamboo hats to sell, but then she proceeds to collapse to the ground and begins to vomit. And that's when we find out that actually the rivers of Wano are contaminated from all of Kaido's factories that are on the island. So remember, Kaido, I'm assuming these might be artificial devil fruit factories or just more industrial buildings that that are not, usually found in Wano that Kaido is setting up, and because of all the pollution and the runoff from these factories, they're polluting their streams. And this might be one of the more poorer regions of the country, the Kuri region, because this is the area where the Kozuki clan reigned. So if you're going to pick any spot in the country to throw in all your factories that are going to pollute all of the wildlife and the streams and everything, you're probably going to do it in the section of your enemy. So the girl passes out, and the Tengu states that, yeah, all that water from the stream, it's basically just like drinking straight up poison, so they gotta try to save her life. Now keep in mind, Chopper and Sanji and everybody, they're still in this area, so I'm sure that they'll be able to find them, and then Chopper will be able to heal her up, and then Sanji might be able to just get some stuff from the forest and make her some decent food, because Sanji can make delicious food out of pretty much anything. So yeah, he'll be able to make something for her, possibly, that's filling, so hopefully she'll get better. And the Tengu goes on to say that this girl, Otama, she could move. I mean, she could live in another area that's not polluted with freaking, poison runoff from a factory, but she chooses to stay in this area because a long time ago, a certain pirate promised her that he would come back to see her again someday. Who is this pirate? Well, he goes by the name of Ace. Okay, so this isn't that much of a surprise because we knew that Ace went to Wano at some point. He made figured out how to make the Casa hat for oars. In fact, who do you think taught Ace how to make a Casa hat? Otama, probably. Now, something else also you have to keep in mind is that when Momonosuke was talking about meeting Roger, back on Zou, everyone was freaking out. Like, oh no, you can't have met Roger. Roger died 24 years ago. You're only like 10. Momonosuke might be 8, or how old is Momonosuke? Do we even know his age? I don't know. We probably do. He's a little kid. He can't be older than 10 or something. But he's talking about meeting Roger, who died like 24 years ago. So most people, some of them were freaking out like, oh man, he might be older than he really seems to be. You know, there might be a secret to that. I, for one, just took that to mean he met Ace. When Ace went there, that's when Momonosuke met, you know, Ace. And he just mistook him for Roger because Ace is Roger's son, so there's a family resemblance. That's what I meant. So, yeah, maybe Ace visited Wano, I don't know, 3 years ago, even 4 years ago, when Otama was 4 or 5, and then, you know, she showed him how to make the Casa hat, and then he made a promise to her, like, one day I will come back here, young lady, and we can have an adventure or something. Of course, that's kinda gonna be difficult, considering he's, well, it's been 2 years since he's been dead. He's probably a skeleton at this point, in the ground, with a giant gaping hole in his ribcage-like area. Man, I'm never gonna let that go, aren't I? But no, yeah, obviously Ace can't come back, but Luffy is Ace's sworn brother, so I think Luffy will carry on after he hears the whole story involving Ace and Otama and the Casa hats and everything like that. I'm sure Luffy will be, like, carry on the spirit of Ace, and then that girl can continue onward and move to another area that isn't poisoned with horrible sludge. But anyway, yeah, last scene of the chapter, we cut back to the beach area, and we see a bunch of people mentioning that, yeah, we lost contact with our scouts at Curry Beach, the ones that Luffy, you know, pummeled and burnt alive and everything like that, the ones that were in control of the baboon. He's like, yeah, we lost contact, headliner, sir. What should we do? And last scene, we get a look at who this headliner person is, and ba-da-ba-bum, it's Hawkins! Beast Pirates headliner, Bajil Hawkins. Don't report this to Kaido-san yet. I'll go. Dun 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 dun! Alright, so this shouldn't surprise anybody. We knew that Apu was working for Kaido after the whole incident with him crashing down at their alliance, and we knew Kid probably didn't want to listen to Kaido, so he got the shit beat out of him and got thrown into a jail cell, which only leaves Hawkins. Hawkins is also pretty smart. He's not going to do anything stupid. He's like, probably the writing was on the cards right away. The cards, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Hawkins went to go take out his tarot cards to read Kaido, like, okay, how's this fight gonna... Oh, there's no point. Or even if he did do the cards just spelled out like lol. Like, there's no way. I bet the cards grow legs and they all start to run away. And Hawkins is just like, never had a reading like that before where the cards sprang feet and ran away from me. You might be pretty strong. So Hawkins is smart. He's not going to try to fight Kaido, so he probably bent the knee right there along with Apu, and then they're working for Kaido, at least as cover. You could always say that they might betray him at some point, but they're definitely all in this country. So yeah, Hawkins is there. I'm glad Oda gave us an update on that. So we'll move forward. Fight against Hawkins and Luffy? Hey, that's something we've never seen before. We get a better look at, you know, Hawkins' Devil Fruit abilities, his, maybe we'll get a name of it finally, like how in last arc we got like an introduction properly of Beijei's Shiro Shironomi at the beginning of Tautland, you know, at the end of Zou, we found out what his Devil Fruit was, and we were curious about that for a while. We might actually finally get a name, and the type of Hawkins' fruit. Also, something that I always found is like a similarity, the ability that Hawkins has where he goes into that, you know, scarecrow form, like the monster face or the demon face where he gets the black nails. That ability is called Gomu no So. And I hear Gomu and I think of Gumu, so maybe there'll be like, maybe a Luffy will make that reference, like he goes into like Gomu no So. And then Luffy's like, Gumu, you have the gum fruit too? I'm fighting a lot of people that have my powers as of late. So maybe that'll be a cute little reference. But hey, yeah, Hawkins versus Luffy, or maybe Hawkins will run into Sanji or Nami or somebody else out in the forest while he's there. That's probably going to get pretty intense coming up, so we'll see where that's going. As for everything else, you know, the Legend of Momotaro, that's obviously what we're going with here, so keep an eye out for a Pheasant, Otama, and Tengu. They're probably going to be characters in this. There probably might be like the Paguya and the Konis of this arc, maybe, where they're not going to be maybe like super like relevant in terms of like support, but they're going to be there and they are going to do stuff that's relevant to the story. And, you know, Otama's history with Ace, I hope we find out that next chapter. Maybe the Tengu will sit Luffy down and explain everything to him, and then at the end of the next chapter, the cliffhanger will be Hawkins showing up at the house or something like that. So yeah, I'm really excited, and yeah, here we go, guys, getting into Wano proper. Tekking 101, signing out.